What did y'all think of the movie?
Awesome. Great.
Awesome. Had
Great.
me laughing, had me crying, had me excited. It was just great. It was.
Now, let me ask you one quick question. When watching the movie, knowing the history, were you hoping that maybe it was a different outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. I hated I didn't want Joe Little to die because I know some Joe Littles like that in life, and I think this is something our kids can really look forward to and have something positive to work toward and some good discussions.
That's what's up. So are you? So would you tell a friend to tell a friend about this movie?
My classes, everybody, come see it. Come
Going back to school and tell everybody.
I'm telling all my students, look, we coming to see this. It's going to be a field trip.
Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all taking time out. Fan who just came out the movie Red Tails. What you think about the movie?
Man, it was a marvelous movie, and I mean, it brought history back to us and realizing just to show us how proud we should be of the Tuskegee fighters. I mean, it was a powerful movie. I really enjoyed it.
Right. Now, a lot of times they kind of put a stigma in back in those days on the Army, like, well, we didn't have no place in the Army. But I really feel this movie showed that we played a major role in the history of the war.
Oh yeah, of course it did. I mean, you know, it brings to light, although there was a lot of discrimination going on, but when they seen the role that we played, you know, that it was clear to many of the officers that, hey, you know, the blacks at that time, they was calling them Negroes. They had played an extremely important role in it, and it was a great movie. I think everybody should go out and see it. I mean, not only blacks but whites should really see what they added to the war. I mean, and the contribution that they made.
That's what's up. I appreciate you taking time out, man, giving us your thoughts on the movie.
Oh, I thought that movie was excellent. Everyone needs to come out and see it.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a great depiction of the Tuskegee Airmen. It was excellent.
Now, let me ask you a question. During the movie, were you hoping that maybe it ended a little different?
Yes, it's just always sad to see that one of the characters died. It was just really sad.
It's kind of hard when you know the history of what really happened and you put it into a movie form.
Right. Yeah, but otherwise, it was an excellent film.
So well, I appreciate y'all taking time out. Make sure y'all tell a friend to come back and watch the movie when it premieres.
Been affiliated with aviation groups for some time. In fact, when Chief Anderson, that was one of the trainers down there for years, when he died down in Tuskegee, about 12 of us flew down to Tuskegee for his funeral. That was Charles Anderson. He was the one that when Miss Roosevelt wanted to go up in there on a plane, and the white guy said, "I'll take you." She said, "No, I want him." That was Chief Anderson. And he taught all of them how to fly. And my group here in Memphis, the Memphis Blackhawks, we all black pilots, got our own plane, and we fly down to Tuskegee every Memorial Day in honor of the Tuskegee Airmen. We do that. We have done it for years. In fact, on Memorial Day weekend, it's nothing to have 200 black pilots from all over the United States of America fly in to honor the Tuskegee Airmen. So we're very familiar with what they have been doing and the job they have done. And we also, as a member of the NEI, that's Negro Aid of the East International, and that's associated with the Tuskegee Airmen.
Hey, y'all just got a little brief throwback of history. This is very important. This is a legend himself in the building. You know, not only just a movie, but to see him live in person. This is a piece of history right here. Up a barbecue, Jim Neely, Interstate Barbecue, man. We got all the celebrities here tonight. We'll see if we can get a few more people and get their intake. How you doing, man?
Hello, Angela Green.
That's what's up. So what did you think about the movie?
I truly enjoyed it. I was not that familiar with the Tuskegee Airmen, so this was definitely an educational experience for me and very heartwarming, so I really enjoyed it.
Okay. One thing, if you could speak to the youth, what would you say based on this movie that you would say to the young people in our generation?
I think it's very important that they understand their history, that they take an interest, and that they learn from those who came before us. The courage, the honor, that which they put before us, they need to take that to heart and put it in practice going forward for the future.
That's what's up. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking a few moments out to speak with us, and I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. At the premiere of Red Tails, and I got two lovely ladies right here. What did y'all think about the movie?
Oh, it was
was excellent, outstanding, and many more positive words.
It was great. It was great.
So if you could say one thing to the young people of our generation based off that movie, what kind of words of encouragement would you give to them?
Well, I'd like to make sure that they had a chance to see the movie and review the history and learn all about the Tuskegee Airmen and what they went through.
That's what's up. I mean, me being a young person, that movie inspired me to go out and grab other young people. What'd you think about that?
I thought that movie was fantastic, just wonderful. Good history lesson, wonderful for our children to see, and I hope a lot of them will see it. It really make them proud.
So, one thing that really caught my eyes is the fact that they allowed Jesus to be pronounced in the movie openly. You don't really see that in a lot of movies today, you know, and they use black Jesus on top of that. So do you think the kids can gravitate to that spiritual? You know, a lot of kids, they don't really gravitate to something spiritual. I think it's something they can kind of get out of that movie.
I think definitely it has a presence that was sort of subtle, but you can't miss it. You know, if they see it, they can't miss it, and they can't help but appreciate the value of it.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate y'all taking a few moments out to speak with us. Glad y'all enjoyed the movie. At the Red Tails movie premiere, and we got some more fans that just came out of a legendary historical movie. What you think about the movie?
I thought the movie was very good. It's an accurate portrayal of African Americans in the Tuskegee Air Force. You know, it tells their story. Just all around great movie, great cast and everything.
That's what's up. Now, if one thing you could say to our youth out here, based upon that movie, what advice would you give our youth?
I would give our youth, you know, it's most definitely something that they need to check out. You know, they should try to get their schools, you know, have field trips come out and see this movie, because most kids don't have any idea about the Tuskegee Airmen, you know, especially then during like Black History Month. You know, it's just something that everybody should check out, especially the youth.
Right. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking our time, man. Glad you enjoyed the movie. So what about the movie most, you know, caught your eye?
I love the P-51s. They were one of the best planes we had until we got jets, you know. Right. They were great.
So did you actually get a chance to fight in the war? Or?
No. I lived down on the Texas coast, and we had Germans coming up trying to torpedo ships when they left Dow Chemical because they were producing napalm. And in fact, we had a German torpedo under the bridge right next to the high school where I was. It was only discovered about 15 years ago, and they blew it up. They took it out in the field and blew it up. But we had blackouts all the time because they'd spot the Germans coming in, and everybody had to turn their lights off.
Wow, that's a piece of history right there. Wow, I definitely appreciate you taking our time to share that with us, man. That's a piece. This is real life history right here. You know, we see it in the movies, but he actually witnessed this firsthand. And me as a person, I've never ever read in a history book where they actually got that close, other than Pearl Harbor. So I really appreciate you dropping off that knowledge. That's a real big help.
Yeah, I'll tell all my students about it for sure. Okay.
Now, what college you at?
I teach at Southwest.
Okay.
I teach anatomy and physiology to them, and I'll tell them all of them want to be nurses. I'll tell them all about it.
Well, we definitely appreciate them sharing that history lesson. Here live, and we have an actual pilot that has attended the movie, so we can get some personal, you know, insight on his take of what he thought about the movie. What you think about the movie?
Well, I thought the movie was very exhilarating, very depictive of the things that Afro-Americans had to go through in order to become pilots. My mentor was the Tuskegee Airman who flew during that time, flew those airplanes, and he sort of guided my career to end up to becoming a pilot that I am today.
Okay, so do you fly for an airline or is it private?
I flew in the Air Force, and now I fly for FedEx. I'm a 777 captain.
Okay, I used to work at FedEx. I loaded the plane, so I guess we loaded you down, so to speak. Got on camera. Okay. I got one more question. If you could say something to the youth, our young people of today, what advice would you give them?
I would say that if you're interested in a career field as a pilot, to start early, pay attention in school, start to set your goals, and don't let anything turn you back, no matter whether you want to be a pilot or
a teacher or engineer or a physician or a doctor. Just set your goals, set them high, reach for the sky.
Well, I thank you for taking time out to speak with me. Glad you enjoyed the movie. I'm here at the Red Tails movie premiere, and we got some more fans that just came out. To me, one of the greatest movies that's going to air in 2012. What is your take on the movie?
Well, I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was great for the history of the Tuskegee Airmen, and we came out as part of the Memphis chapter of Tuskegee Airmen, so we were glad to have been invited and get a chance to see such a great production.
Okay, now this is what I've been asking everybody all night long. If there's one thing you can say to our youth, particularly in the African American community, what advice would you give them?
Well, advice I would give them is that if they look at this movie or in general, they should realize that they can overcome any obstacle and they should be able to do anything that they want to do. Right. And that's what the Tuskegee Airmen proved, that they could get it done.
And actually taught me something, because I was always taught that we had no place in the Army. And this movie showed me that we played a major role in breaking a lot of barriers in the Army.
Yes, we did. And we have done that for many years, even back when the country was first started, from the American Revolution. In every war, we've served in it. And we've tried our best to demonstrate that we are a part of this country and we can fight for freedom, and we will fight for freedom just like anyone else.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking out some time to speak with us, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. Live here at the Red Tails movie premiere, and we got another lovely fan here that just got done checking out the movie. What was your thoughts and opinions about the movie?
It was quite an awesome movie. I get a chance to hear some of my father's stories actually be portrayed in real life, more than just a visual scene. Actually kind of touching at the end, to know that they did accomplish something so great in the military, and that me living now, we stand on the shoulders of these guys. Right. So it's just really awesome and heartfelt of their great accomplishments.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, what was your father's name?
Lieutenant Colonel Luke J. Weathers, Jr., a native Memphian, born in Grenada. Okay. Passed October the 15th of this year, still pending to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
So do you feel like the movie did him justice?
I do. Like anything, nothing's perfect. Right. But this is closest to reality thus far that I've seen, and I think that Lucasfilms did a great job.
Okay. Well, I just want to say on film, on behalf of my company, and I'm sure he feels the same way, that we are honored that your father, fought for our country and fought for our rights. And though I didn't know him personally, but from what I've seen in the movie, I can feel it spiritually, that he, his work is not going to be forgotten, and we definitely appreciate him for what he's done. So we are live here with a good friend of mine, a mentor to me, the coordinator of this lovely and wonderful event, History in the Making. We got Mr. Michael Stevie Moore here, and he does a lot, I mean, he's just that guy, you know what I'm saying? And if you're around this guy, you got to be somebody too. But I want to get his thoughts in this intake and kind of give us an inside look, the stress and the worries it took to pull this thing off, because it was a packed house.
Man, and I'm glad that Memphis showed up, and I really believe that that's the type of thing that we have to do to change the very environment that is in Memphis. I think for us to support in such numbers, a black movie, a movie about our history. This was a movie about our achievements. So the way I look at it is, when you see this movie, you see us, and you see us in our best light. We always had to be better. We always had to be greater. We always had to do it on a whole nother level, and that's what the Tuskegee Airmen did. They performed on a whole nother level, and it makes us so proud that to be black.
Yeah, black is the beautiful. So I got one question before we get up out of here. What's next from I'm going to call you the professor, He got a new name from XP called the Professor. What's next coming from the Professor?
Made in Memphis. Say it with me. Made in Memphis. The magazine, Made in Memphis. The book, Made in Memphis, the television series. Made in Memphis is what's coming next.
Y'all be on the lookout for that. And it's a lovely thing. You got three greats in here. You got Hood Facts, which is the news. You got WRUG, which is the radio. And you got Made in Memphis, the magazine. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Memphis, y'all better wake up, man. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? 3 in 1, just like Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
And it makes an M.
Exactly. How it's going down, man. Appreciate you.
Bless your side.
And two, before we get out of here, I want to say something. Tonight brought out all the Memphis greats, and I can't leave without giving a great shout out to the Tri-State Defender. They are a big supporter here in Memphis. It's a black-owned newspaper, and they do some great things for the city. So we got magazines, newspaper, the news, and the radio. And I just want to say tonight was very special to me because I learned a little bit more about my history and found a new great appreciation for all of the soldiers, not just African-American, but all the soldiers that lived and died so that I might have the freedom to stand here and do this and bridging the gap together, ending racism. A lot of times we look only that Martin Luther King ended racism, but if it wasn't for those Tuskegee Airmen, we wouldn't have the opportunity to stand here. So support hoodfacts.com, support WRUG, support Made in Memphis, support Red Tails, the movie. It is a great movie, and we need schools to come see this movie. I heard a few college professors say they're going to discuss this in their classes. This is very important that our history be learned. Again, hoodfacts.com, WRUG Radio. From Red Tails movie premiere, I'm XP, and we out.